everyone, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with me Blake Lawrence of Windwave Communications. Blake, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're here finishing up the first day of ITA. It was very interesting. You're just exhibiting, I think, just down the aisle from me.
Yep.
So what is Windwave Communications?
Windwave Communications is a fiber optic provider that has its own network and has connected like a lot of the rural areas in Eastern Oregon, especially the extreme rural areas of Northeastern Oregon. And we design and build fiber optic networks for other carriers as well.
So I've been hearing statistics about Oregon that are interesting, even as much as I've lived here a long time, that we apparently have counties out there that are bigger than states.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
But they have fewer than 100,000 people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They've been ultra remote since the beginning of Oregon. That's
Right.
why the counties are so large, based on population. That was the square miles it took to meet a county requirement.
And just so people have a visual in their head, people think of Oregon, they think of Crater Lake, and they think of trees and evergreen trees and the ocean and so on. We're talking about actually a different Oregon, one that's almost looks like a desert.
Yeah, I mean, there's all different variations. You have such a wide range of elevation from, way inland, you're still at only maybe 1,400 feet above sea level to, what is the Swiss Alps of Oregon, like
Right.
the Enterprise and Joseph in that area that's, getting close to 7,000 plus feet that, stay snow-capped, close to glacial.
So, really for 30 years, I've been hearing the term digital divide. And that's among the other things that have divided places like Oregon. Is it possible now that divide might be closing, that some of these places that have been underserved for connectivity are now getting first-class connectivity?
Well, the proposal is that they will get connected.
Okay.
And, that's with BEAD funding, which is a huge move forward to connect a lot of rural Oregon. And as much as it pains me in the fiber industry, the low Earth orbiting technology is really connecting a lot of rural homes. It's working.
Now, what role do you play in delivering connectivity to these remote or rural areas?
So we do everything from serve schools and hospitals and neighborhoods. We're not necessarily a residential provider, but we build middle mile, like we connect those communities. Mm-hmm. and have been doing that for more than 20 years. So that's really the critical role that we play. And then we also spend quite a bit of time in partnerships with ESD school districts and then with the counties themselves in helping them kind of trying to identify ways to meet their broadband needs.
Now, I walked by your booth and it was like this really amazing video you had with these machines I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So what's that all about?
Well, we do some data center construction as well. There's some data centers that have been built in Oregon over the years. And, they have some specific needs for large conduit banks and things like that. And we've built particular equipment to meet those needs. And then we've adapted our conventional equipment for building middle mile as well. We've gone to a larger size equipment and use larger excavators and then excavator plows that we've worked with companies that provide those, like designed them to go on different types of equipment.
And this is actually a big it's not a hidden story, but it is a big quiet story in Oregon and Washington, the rise of data centers in Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they have special needs apparently, right?
They do. They initially needed a ton of power and a ton of water and a ton of land,
right,
so to speak. They've done really, really well with what we know as far as their water consumption. That's not nearly the issue that it was anymore. They recycle a lot of that water now, but they still do use quite a lot of power.
So what role does your company play in helping those companies meet their needs?
We build fiber connectivity between some of the data center sites And then those data centers contribute quite a bit of money into the counties that they're in. They pay a lot of times they're pay the highest county taxes of anyone. And then the cities and counties are able to divide that money up as SIP money, and sometimes we'll help with the broadband distribution there. Sometimes our competitors do as well. Sometimes we only play an advisory role in trying to come up with a solution for those communities to use that funding.
Now, do the cloud giants directly engage you, or do you go through a different company? In other words, who's your customer?
Most of them want you to be under NDA, so we can't really talk about exactly who our customers are.
All right.
But it's not too hard to guess who they are based on the regions that we're in. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So for people that are not at this conference and people that are watching or listening, can they engage your services directly, or do they have to go through a dealer, or how does it work?
No, you can engage us directly, and we're happy to have a conversation and see, part of our job or service that we provide is like seeing if your project is feasible or what the next steps would be for you. If you're not really familiar with broadband, or maybe you're small and you want to apply for a large grant or something like that, like we can start to steer you through that process. And we may not be who you choose as a vendor in the end, but we can help you get started.
Now, remaining faithful to your NDAs, I want you to have all happy customers. Are there any verticals that you, I know you do, help data centers and so on, but there are other verticals that are not necessarily a data company that you help, or types of companies that you help?
Yeah, other carriers. We help other carriers as well that are like global providers that may have a sea cable that lands in Oregon and continues on to the east through our network area, and we help them as well.
Now, do you serve the entire state and other states, or do you serve a specific region in the state?
Our physical fiber plant is in Oregon. We don't have fiber plant outside of Oregon, but we do help other carriers outside of Oregon in other states with their projects.
And you're saying, actually, if you were considering a project or you needed to do something, you guys offer free consultation and some information before you have to pull the trigger on something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we don't look for a commitment or anything like that. Like, we're happy to have a conversation, just carrier to carrier or neighbor to neighbor, and say, hey, we think you're on the right path from what we've seen. We've been doing this for 20 plus years. For what our opinion's worth, we'll be happy to share some direction. And like I said, even if we're not your final choice, we'll hopefully help you get an idea of what you're up against, or maybe help carry it through all the way to the end.
Well, Blake, I really want to thank you for joining me today. The busy day at ITA. Where can we learn more?
You can look on our website, Windwave Technologies, LLC, and or Windwave Technologies, and you can look us up there. You can call us. We're not too hard to find. Google us. There's not too many of us in Eastern
Sounds like
Oregon.
you're pretty easy to deal with too.
Yeah, we're pretty easy to deal with, I think.
All right, I love companies that do big projects but offer personal touch.
Yeah.
Well, Blake, it's really nice meeting you, and I'm glad we've got to learn more about what you guys do.
Yeah, thank you.